Life essentially surrounds us no matter where we go. There are trees and grass alike which all grow and require substance to live, which makes them elements of life. But speaking of elements, life is also an essential element of Skarners, and as you can tell from a light beckoning down, I have all of the life Skarners assembled before me. And so naturally that means we're going to be counting down my top 10 favourites. But not alone, since once again I'm joined by a guest, that being Demigod Schmurder for today's top 10 videos. Without further ado, let's get into our top 10 list, starting off, of course, with Demigod Schmurders.
Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, my name is Demigod Schmurdy here, and thank you, Ignite, for inviting me to, be in the this top 10 series. And I'm going to start off my list for life with number 5, which is Trilipede, and I only have the Easter variant, but I just really like Trilopede's kit in general. The way that his melee attacks sort of work, and you can combo it into one of his bug bombs that does damage over time, and then the way that you can stack up his damage and keep slowing enemies down with his normal attacks. It's really good, and his cocoon shield, I mean, it's okay, but it's damage immunity. Damage immunity is never a bad thing. I also really like his design, except for this one, because again, this is just the Easter variant, and I never bothered buying the real one. So yeah, with all that, Trilopede's my number 5.
For my personal number 5, I have Stump Smash. Now, this character is pretty awesome. The fact that he's a tree, but with hammers as hands, is a really cool design element, which I really enjoy. But what I love about Stump Smash is his Series 2 figurine in specific, because his Wow Power, when comboed with his Nut Path, creates for some pretty awesome combinations, since holding the B button spawns several acorns which I can guarantee the enemies cannot escape from. So really what I'm saying here is that this guy is extremely powerful. In fact, in Spyro's Adventure, he was easily one of the most powerful Skarners in that game, and with him being a life Skarner, he had a bunch of health to go around, meaning that it would have been a hassle for enemies to get rid of this guy due to his sheer power and durability on the battlefield.
Next up is my number 4, and I would have to go with Grilladrilla. I'm never sure why I really like Grilladrilla. I think it's got something to do with his awesome design and being the first character that I awakened in the Ring of Heroes beta, which, by the way, Ring of Heroes sucks, but overall, his attacks, like, his moveset's really unique. The way that he can burrow himself in the ground and create turrets and mines, that's really cool. And then his Drill Fist, the way you can hold it out and do repeated damage, is really nice. But I think my favorite move that he has is the monkeys, and the way that he summons them, and then they just go crazy and just, like, do a whole shit ton of damage to pretty much everything on the screen. Yeah, it's nuts. So overall, I'm a big fan of Grilladrilla, and I'm going to put him at number 4.
That's my number 4. I have Ambush. Now, this guy's design, straight out of the bat, is epic. I love everything that is poured into this guy, from the detail found within his branching arms to the samurai suit thingamajiggas that he wears, whatever it's called, the robe, I should say, to be more specific, I suppose, to his hair, and even his weaponry with the small little increments in it, just like his arms. That is extremely detailed. But all design and details aside, what really makes this guy stand out is just how much fun he is. You wouldn't think that things like bamboo shields and sword strikes combo together really nicely, but you'd be wrong, because they really do. The combos naturally play out, so you're just there mashing buttons, not realising just how much you're annihilating enemies, and it all feels natural in the process. And I sure hope you guys enjoy the whole natural punness to him, because he's a life Skarner, which therefore emphasises nature and naturalness. So once again, it's a moveset which you wouldn't think would be that effective or that fun to utilise, but in both instances you'd be wrong, because it's fun and it's effective.
So number 5 has got to be Tree Rex. If I remember correctly, he is actually the best giant in Skylanders Giants, or at least the strongest. I made a tier list of all the Skylanders a while ago, and I think it was either Tree Rex or Crusher that was at the top of the Giants one. But anyway, Tree Rex's moveset, it's just super, super cool, super fun. the way that his photosynthesis cannon works. I always like gun moves and stuff like that, and especially photosynthesis cannon. It's just a really fun move to use. And then his charge, his dash attack is really nice, and the way that you can do the elbow drop. And it's just like really fast too, especially for a giant. It's one of the better dash attacks that was introduced in Giants. The other best one was actually Crusher's Rock Sliding Out, if you had the rock control path. But, and then the Shockwave Slam, it's big area damage, and you can never go wrong with big area damage, so I'm going to say Tree Rex is my number 3.
That's my personal number 3. I have Bumble Blast. I love this guy straight up purely because he can be so lazy with him. He can fire bees from basically any direction and they will turn around and attack enemies no matter what. So the laziness behind this guy is always fun to see. But on top of that, the moveset is very well thought out and very unique as well. There's very few characters that have a bee gun, and not to mention, just like Ambush, it has that natural feeling because of course Bumble Blast utilizes honey. And the bees are naturally attracted to honey, just like they are in natural, real-life instances. So again, this guy truly emphasizes the life found within his element. And he also has a really cool design as well. I didn't point out about how the bee gun just looks incredibly cool, and it really is fitting for this design as well, making his mouth like a little honey pool for the beehive, and then his gun actually shooting out the bees themselves, and himself actually being a tree. In the process, which of course is the natural location for most beehives found in nature. So it's just a very well thought out and very cool looking design in my personal opinion. And his gameplay is just cherry on top of the cake because it's really fun all the same, giving Bumble Blast the number 3 spot on the list right here.
As for my number 2, I'm gonna go high 5 here. Thank you, Crash the Skylands, for sending me him, by the way. I won some contest for something, and the prize was Dino-Rang, and I already had him, so Crash and I came to an agreement, and now I have high 5, and I don't regret making this decision asking for this character. He's incredibly fun, he's incredibly powerful. His poison spores, and like, when you dash through the poison clouds, that is insane. Just the way that his damage stacks up is really nice. And as long as you're not playing in Trap Team, fun fact, you can actually use Shockwave Slam to heal if you hold the button down long enough. Because it'll take, like, 60 damage and then his apples heal for, like, 20 or 30. So it's really nice. And then, you know, just the way that, like, he kind of dashes across the screen. He's very fun, he's very powerful, he's very fast. I really like his design as well. The only thing that I'm not really the biggest fan of is that he's very frail. He doesn't take a lot of hits, but that's fine because he's a ranged character that's like zipping around the screen, going through levels. So he's super fun character, super strong character. But yeah, I am gonna have to place him at number 2 though.
Fun fact about my own high 5, I actually had a spare high 5 for the longest time, so I gave it away as my first ever giveaway contest, and I only got a single entry for that, so Luke Smith kind of won that by default. But as I digress, my own number 2 for the list right here is Camo, a fan favourite of many, and it's easy to see why. First of all, his design is awesome and unique because it stands out from the other dragons in the fact that it doesn't have any sort of scales or wings, which just makes him unique as a species, you could say. But on top of that, it's just a really cool looking design. The greens and the yellows contrast each other very nicely, creating for a very good colour palette of a character. And when it comes to Thornhorn Camo here, this is for Camo I like in specific because the horns have a really nice texture into them. So above all, I like holding the figure. It's a really nice figure to hold because of that texturing and as such. But once again, it comes down to the wow power, just like with Stump Smash. Camo's wow power is incredibly overpowering, especially when you combine that with the Firecracker Vines path. You just create all sorts of explosions around you and annihilate your enemies very, very quickly because it's kind of trap-like to where once the enemies fall into it, they cannot get back out of it again. So yeah, Camo is just really fun and really unique, giving him the worthy number 2 inclusion on the list right here.
And as for my number 1, it's gotta be Bushwhack. I don't know why, but this guy's always kind of been my favorite trap master. Just like his axe is just so powerful. One of the strongest, even one of the strongest trap masters. Probably beaten out by Nightlight. I can't remember the entire tier list off the top of my head, but Bushwhack was in like A tier at least. Like I said, it's that axe. It's so powerful, and he has a dash attack. With the bottom path, he can start his head charge. And then he's got the acorns, which, hey, stun. So then he can go in with his dash attack, does his headbutt, and then freaking slash everything with his big-ass axe. I also really like his soul gem move. I don't know why I love it so much. I think it's just, like, the idea of dropping a tree on people. That's hilarious and fun. So, yeah, Bushwhack's got to be my number 1. And thank you again to Ignite the Fire for, inviting me to do this video. I'm a little honored to be part of this, and, yeah. Thanks, guys, though. This is Demigod Shmurda, logging out.
So, once you combine both my own and Demigod's lists together, we get none other than Thrillipede at number 10, Stump Smash number 9, Willow Driller number 8, Ambush number 7, T-Rex number 6, Bumble Blast number 5, High Vive number 4, ironically, only one spot away from the number that's on his helmet, but as I digress, we also have Camo at number 3, Bushwhack at number 2, leaving us at the most profound spot on the list for any of these Scarlers, and also the most exciting entry, that being for number 1 for, and this is a personal entry of mine, I should say, and that entry is Zulu. Now, when I first saw Zulu's design, it looked kind of bland and boring to me, but over time I've grown to really appreciate his design because of the small little details on it. The boar on his belt, and the fact that his nice little staff thing here has a tribute to each of the creatures that Zulu utilizes. It's just really detailed and really cool to look at. Sorry guys, but regardless, not only is this guy's design great, but as is his gameplay. I love the fact that the birds kind of circle around. It makes him very effective, and the moveset is also really fun to utilize as well, with the fact that you can spawn in a wolf, watch that bite away at the enemies whilst you launch your birds at them, and maybe even like ride on your bull, spawn in a wolf, and have your bird circle an enemy. So the fact that, all 3 attacks are used in combination with one another so fluently is incredibly fun to watch and to listen to as well. The sound effects and animations for this guy are phenomenal, but really that moveset is just so much fun to me and I adore it, which is why Zulu is number 1 on the list, and his great design on top of that is just, once again, cherry on top of the cake, you could say. And I was pleasantly surprised even by this character, as going into him, as I said beforehand, my expectations were quite low, but once I actually started playing and upgrading this guy, I found out that I really enjoy him, not only his character, but also his personality as well. He's got a really vibrant and unique personality, just making him a strong character overall, and a worthy number 1 to our life list right here. But with that being said and done, thank you so much, Demigod Shmurda, for joining me on this life list right here, and I'll be seeing you guys next Thursday for another Elemental Top 10. But until such a moment, peace.